The Nazca Lines are a group of very large trenches in the Nazca Desert in southern Peru. They were created between 500 BC and 500 CE. They were made by scraping off the top layer of reddish-brown iron oxide-coated pebbles to reveal a yellow-gray subsoil. Some of the Nazca Lines form shapes that are best seen from the air through they are visible from the surrounding foothills and other places. The shapes are usually made from one continuous line. The largest ones are about 370 meters long. Because of its isolation and the dry, windless, stable climate of the plateau, the lines have mostly been preserved naturally. Extremely rare changes in weather may temporarily alter the general designs. As of 2012, the lines are said to have been deteriorating because of an influx of squatters inhabiting the lands. In December 2014, activists of Greenpeace entered the strictly prohibited area during UN climate talks. On this World Heritage Site, they laid big yellow cloth letters on the ground reading, "Time for a change. The future is renewable." With this action, they damaged the lines, leaving footprints on the ground, and the publicity stunt turned out to be one of the most criticized activities of Greenpeace. In order to get different point of views about this campaign, we asked these people a few questions.
It's never ethical. It's never ethical to do it, but nonetheless, it's what always happens, either intentionally or unintentionally. And this is because we are always biased. For example, from the perspective of the media or journalism or communication, it doesn't matter, well, it matters if you have a good agenda or a bad agenda, but the information is always going to be biased. So you are nonetheless always manipulating what the public understands or sees. So what is important is to give space to different actors. So you have to listen to all of the actors involved, so you don't create a negative manipulation of what an organization is seen to the public in general. I think it's a misunderstanding. Well, it's not a misunderstanding, but people normally think that it only exists those two polarizations. So it's either the negative news or the good news. But in reality, in media, what is more important is that you have the premise. And that premise, sometimes it's pushed by what the public is expecting, which is what happened with Greenpeace in this case. People were, of course, pushing towards that they did a bad thing, which was it's completely true, and the media was approaching towards that because that's what people want to receive. And otherwise, if you are giving or focusing on another thing, society will feel that you are being biased and that you are supporting a bad action from Greenpeace.
No, definitely not. I think they just wanted to bring awareness to environmental impact because of the climate conference being held in Lima at the time. And I don't think they really thought it through when they were doing these actions, because they really got a real backlash, got negative media attention because all of the negative impact these actions had. And the CEO of Greenpeace had to fly to Peru and ask people sorry, and their focus was not on environmental awareness anymore, but they had to fix other problems. So I don't think that was a real effective move by those Greenpeace activists. So there are two ways in which you can approach it. You can be collaborative, just making partnerships, or you can be very confrontational, like Greenpeace, like jumping on these ships. On the short term, on the short run, what Greenpeace does is somewhat effective, because when you face these organizations, jump on these ships, it stops their economic activities, gives them very negative vibes in the media, and then they tend to break that status quo, what they were doing. But on the long run, on the medium and long run, it is more effective to be collaborative, because if you just keep pushing people on the whole way, people will have a vibe like, okay, I'm not gonna change. So you can break the status quo in the short run, but in the long run, it's better to find alignment in what you guys are trying to achieve. In this case, particularly the Nazca lines, I don't think so, because when they damaged the site, they got so much negative media attention that they were only focusing at that time in fixing that damage, that their number one priority or number one goal in finding awareness for the conference being held in Lima was just overshadowed by that backlash. So in this case, I don't think it was really effective, the media attention that they got.
Probably, yes. They look at the long term, I guess, and then they feel like, oh yeah, if we're gonna do this right now, then in the end it will be better, even though at the moment it's not good. So I guess they try to look at it like that and tell the people, yeah, but if we're doing this right now, the outcome is gonna get better in long terms. But they don't realize how much they're hurting people. Yeah, exactly. Short term, they probably forget about that because they have a vision or something they want to achieve long term, and then they know how to reach it, and then they forget about the people or the things that they heard short term. Yeah, I guess that's the point where you get to reaching more people, especially by doing something illegal. You get to reach more people because it's going to be in the news and it's going to be written all over, and otherwise they're just going to reach the people that are following their actions, and now they're actually reaching people who don't even follow their actions as well. So I guess that's why some organizations risk doing something illegal to actually get more attention in the end. It shouldn't be like that, but I guess it does happen. But I think they need people to tell them that they're getting lost. There need to be a few people who are actually like checking that everything that they do and every project that they're doing needs to be in line with what they're standing for. And I guess it happens too often that people actually forget about that.
Nevertheless, Greenpeace had issued a fulsome apology, saying that they are deeply concerned about any moral offense and stating that they will speak to the authorities and explain what really happened. They have met with the Peruvian Culture Ministry responsible for the site to offer an apology. Furthermore, the former International Executive Director, Kumi Naido, traveled to Lima personally to apologize for the offense caused.
Why I joined Greenpeace, well, when I was 19 years old, I was really interested in putting into effort of protecting the environment, and I didn't know what I had to do. So I looked up and did some research, and found that the Greenpeace fits most of my goals, most shared common goals actually. Basically everything they do, their goals and the costs and the whole picture, it fits me, and that's why I picked Greenpeace. Yeah, I did know other organizations. Obviously, when I do my research, I don't do it on one cause. So basically, I researched a lot of organizations such as the WWF and the Amnesty International. Basically, Amnesty International does a lot for the children in the third world countries, but it doesn't really fit my preferences. But and neither, well, the WWF was just animals, and I wanted to combine it with the environment and total, completely, basically. The protocol is simple, get the job done. It's not that complicated. They just went there and they followed the protocol. So far, it went fine. But then they knew that what they were doing, They crossed the line, but they did their research on the Nazca lines, and I guess somewhere it went wrong. The media attention went towards the carbon footprint and not the campaigner that we're fighting for, which is a bit saddening, to be honest. Yes, I actually do advise people. Just a few important things. Don't forget that it's really difficult. It's time-consuming. Obviously, you're giving away a bit of your life, but it's actually you're doing it for a good cause. You're putting in work that not many others can say that they've done. I would actually advise people to give it a try. Why not? Start with small causes, save some stuff, protect the environment in your local area. Start small. Who knows, if this fits you, you can actually achieve big things. I didn't know about yous, but when I look outside, I didn't see green anymore.
Greenpeace made a mistake during this campaign. They have learned from it, but they didn't achieve what they wanted. They got a bad reputation instead of making aware of their mission and what they stand for. But their intention was to never hurt anyone's feelings, even though sometimes it looks like they don't think about any negative outcomes for the other parties who are unintentionally involved in their campaigns. Nevertheless, they haven't changed their mission, nor their values, and they still try to fight for them every day.